My name is Essie Coker. I'm 32 years old, and 6 months ago, I thought my relationship was unshakable. I had a stable career in IT consulting, a downtown apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows, and a boyfriend I'd spent 7 years building a life with. Nathan Mercer, 30, pharmaceutical sales, charming enough to make strangers trust him instantly, and confident enough to think consequences only happened to other people. Back then, our life felt settled in the safest possible way. Predictable dinners, shared grocery lists, lazy Sundays, quiet affection. I thought peace meant maturity. Nathan eventually decided peace meant boredom. Everything started with the gym. Not a normal gym either. One of those boutique fitness clubs where everyone looked like they belonged in luxury fitness commercials. $200 a month. Neon motivational signs everywhere. Trainers with perfect teeth and impossible bodies. Nathan became obsessed almost immediately. At least someone in this relationship is taking fitness seriously, he joked one night while admiring himself in the bathroom mirror. I laughed then because it sounded harmless. The trainer's name was Sabrina. The first month, it was casual. Sabrina says my form is improving fast. The second month, Sabrina thinks I could completely transform my body if I committed. By month 3, Sabrina was texting him late at night about nutrition timing and recovery strategies. Midnight messages, smiling at his phone, sudden cologne before workouts, tighter shirts, longer gym sessions. He started acting younger around her, like he was auditioning for a different version of himself. I noticed all of it. I just didn't react. Partly because I didn't want to sound insecure. Partly because Nathan still came home to me every night, still kissed me goodbye every morning, still acted like our relationship was perfectly fine. But tiny fractures had already started forming under the surface. Then came Thursday night. Nathan cooked dinner himself, which should have been romantic. Candles, wine, salmon. But the apartment felt tense before he even spoke, like he was rehearsing something in his head. "Essie," he finally said, twisting his wine glass nervously. "Can we talk about something?" That tone. The relationship ending tone. "Sure. Promise you'll keep an open mind." I almost laughed. Nobody says that before something good. He forced a smile. I was listening to this podcast about modern relationships. Immediately, I knew this conversation was about Sabrina. They were talking about how monogamy is kind of outdated, he continued carefully. Like, biologically, humans aren't meant to stay with one person forever. I slowly put my fork down. And I was thinking, maybe we should try something different. Just once. The room suddenly felt colder. What kind of different? A hall pass situation. Silence. The candles looked ridiculous now. A hall pass, I repeated slowly. Just one time, he rushed to explain. To explore. To make sure we're choosing each other because we genuinely want to, not because we're trapped in routine. I leaned back and studied him quietly. And I'm guessing you already know who you'd use yours with. His ears turned red instantly. Well, Sabrina and I kind of have chemistry.
Chemistry.
That word people use when they want cheating to sound intellectual. It's only physical, he added quickly. It wouldn't mean anything emotionally. I stared at him for several seconds before asking softly, "Your trainer?" She understands me differently lately. Amazing. He turned flirting into philosophy in under 5 minutes. Then he made the mistake that destroyed everything. "You could have one too," he said. "Anyone you want." I smiled slightly. "Anyone?" "Yeah, totally fair. What about Ethan?" His expression changed immediately. "Ethan Cole, my coworker." The same coworker Nathan became weirdly jealous of after our company Christmas party because Ethan made me laugh too hard during dinner. The same coworker Nathan stalked online afterward while pretending not to care. "He's not your type," Nathan said too fast. "Interesting. You said anyone." "Well, yeah, but..." I took a slow sip of wine, then smiled. "You know what? Okay." His eyes widened. "Really?" "Sure, let's do it." The excitement that flashed across his face lasted less than 3 seconds before anxiety replaced it. That alone told me everything. Nathan expected permission for himself. He never truly expected me to use mine. "When should we?" he asked carefully. I pretended to think. "Next weekend works for me." "For me too," he answered immediately, almost too excited again. The rest of dinner became surreal. Nathan kept checking his phone under the table, probably texting Sabrina already, probably celebrating. Meanwhile, I quietly started making my own plans. Because Nathan didn't know Ethan had invited me to a work conference in wine country 2 weeks earlier. I originally declined because Nathan always acted uncomfortable whenever Ethan's name came up. But now, apparently I had permission. Friday morning arrived fast. Nathan stood in the bedroom doorway, watching me pack my suitcase. "You're actually going?" "Looks like it." "To wine country?" I nodded casually. "That conference Ethan invited me to." His entire expression tightened instantly. "The one he's attending?" "Mm-hmm." A long silence followed. Then, "I thought maybe you'd just meet someone random." I zipped my suitcase slowly. Why would I do that when I already know someone I have chemistry with? The word chemistry hit him exactly the way I intended. "Essie, that's different." "How?" He opened his mouth, closed it again. I kept packing.
Actually, I don't need my
"A whole
report, 'cause
weekend
I've
feels
actually
excessive," he muttered. "Oh, I didn't realize we established rules."
got to go back over there.
"That's not what I mean." "Then explain what you mean." He couldn't, because the fantasy only worked if I stayed home quietly while he explored his exciting little trainer fantasy, guilt-free. Then his eyes landed on the black dress folded neatly in my suitcase. "You're bringing that?" "Ethan likes that dress." The look on Nathan's face almost made me laugh out loud. Not because I wanted to hurt him, because for the first time since this ridiculous conversation started, he finally understood what he'd actually asked for. Then I noticed something on our shared calendar and smiled faintly. "Nathan, you have a waxing appointment today."
I'm loading way too
His
much
face
time.
turned bright
Wasted
red
over there.
instantly. "That's not..." Brazilian waxes before a hall pass aren't exactly subtle. "Essie..." "It's okay," I interrupted softly. "Shoot your shot." I kissed his cheek and walked out the door. He called me 12 times before I even reached the airport. Texts flooded my screen nonstop. "Can we talk? I think we need boundaries. This suddenly feels wrong. A weekend is too intimate. Please answer me." Then, finally, I changed my mind. I responded once. "Too late now. Boarding soon. Have fun with Sabrina." Then I turned my phone off and boarded the flight. Somewhere above the clouds, staring out the airplane window, I realized something strange. I wasn't heartbroken anymore. I was curious. Curious how long Nathan's fantasy would survive once he realized I was no longer willing to play the safe, loyal girlfriend, quietly waiting at home while he tested our relationship for excitement. When I turned my phone back on after landing in wine country, the screen nearly froze from notifications. 41 missed calls. Over 100 texts. Nathan had gone through every emotional stage possible in less than 3 hours. "Essie, please answer." "This feels manipulative. You're punishing me now." Ethan has always wanted you. I don't like this anymore. Please come home. Then the messages got uglier. If you do this, we're done. I swear I'll call a lawyer. Followed 10 minutes later by, I love you. Then, I hate you for making me feel like this. I sat at baggage claim reading everything while people dragged suitcases past me. The desperation practically leaked through the screen. Funny how quickly his modern relationship experiment stopped feeling empowering once he imagined me with another man. I took one screenshot after another. Then I sent a single reply. Just landed. Conference starts soon. Remember, this was your idea. Enjoy, Sabrina. Almost immediately, my phone started vibrating again. I ignored it. Essie? I looked up to see Ethan approaching, with a coffee in one hand and his suitcase in the other. Tall, relaxed, stupidly attractive without trying too hard. The exact type of man Nathan hated because Ethan never competed for attention. He naturally got it. Ready for the most boring weekend of your life? Ethan asked. I can hardly contain my excitement. He laughed and handed me the coffee. You okay? You look like you just survived a hostage negotiation. Relationship drama. Bad? Potentially catastrophic. Ah, he nodded calmly. Those are the fun ones. Here's the part Nathan never would have believed. Nothing happened between Ethan and me. Not once. We attended presentations about cybersecurity infrastructure and analytics software. We drank overpriced wine with coworkers. We complained about conference food. That was it. Ethan had a girlfriend he adored, a kindergarten teacher named Lily, who kept sending him photos of their golden retriever wearing sweaters. But Nathan didn't know that. And after what he pulled, I stopped feeling responsible for protecting his comfort. Friday evening, our entire team went to a vineyard for networking drinks. Sunset over endless rows of grapes, soft golden light everywhere. Beautiful enough to look romantic, even when people were discussing software budgets. Someone snapped a group photo. I posted it on Instagram. Perfect evening. Nathan called within 30 seconds. I declined it. An hour later, I posted a second photo. 2 wine glasses clinking together. Ethan's hand barely visible near one of them. The phone rang immediately again.
Declined.
Then came the third post later that night. The hotel pool glowing blue under the moonlight. Midnight swim. The truth? 5 coworkers were sitting behind me complaining about expense reports while I took that picture. But Nathan didn't know that either. By midnight, the text changed tone completely. I made a mistake. I don't want the hall pass anymore. Please, just talk to me. Then, I didn't go through with Sabrina. Interesting. Saturday morning, I finally answered one call. Nathan picked up instantly. Essie? His voice sounded wrecked already. You okay? I asked calmly. No, this whole thing feels horrible. That's strange. Thursday you sounded excited. Can you stop being sarcastic for 1 minute? I walked onto the hotel balcony overlooking the vineyards. What happened with Sabrina?
Silence.
Then, nothing. Nothing? She thought I wanted extra training sessions. I almost laughed. And when you clarified, she got uncomfortable. Of course she did. What exactly did you say to her? Nathan exhaled shakily. I told her we had permission.
Permission.
Like we were teenagers sneaking around, instead of adults destroying a 7-year relationship because somebody got attention at the gym. And she said she doesn't get involved with clients. Ouch! She also has a girlfriend. I blinked. A girlfriend?
Yeah.
The silence after that nearly killed me. Not because I was shocked. Because the universe had delivered consequences faster than I ever could, Nathan's voice cracked with humiliation. I feel like an idiot. You are an idiot. That's cruel. You asked your girlfriend for permission to sleep with your trainer because she smiled at you during squats. You don't understand. No, I interrupted quietly. I understand perfectly now. Then came the accusation. You manipulated this. I actually laughed this time. Excuse me? You knew Ethan would make me uncomfortable. And Sabrina was supposed to make me comfortable? That's different. There's that word again. Nathan went silent. I leaned against the balcony railing, staring at the vineyards below. You never thought I'd actually use the hall pass, did you? Another silence. That was answer enough. Saturday evening, the messages became emotional chaos again. Please come home. I can't stop thinking about you with him. I don't want this anymore. Then suddenly, fine. If you're with Ethan tonight, I'll call Sabrina again. I stared at that message for a long moment before replying. Do what makes you happy. 3 dots appeared instantly, then disappeared, then reappeared. Nothing came after that. Sunday morning exploded into disaster. I was downstairs eating hotel breakfast with Ethan and 3 coworkers when the lobby doors slammed open hard enough to make everyone turn. Nathan stormed inside, looking like he hadn't slept all night. Wrinkled clothes, bloodshot eyes, pure panic radiating from his entire body. He scanned the room wildly before spotting me, then spotting Ethan beside me. There she is! Every conversation in the breakfast area stopped. Ethan lowered his coffee slowly. Good morning? Nathan pointed directly at him. Stay away from my girlfriend. One coworker nearly choked on orange juice. I stood up immediately. Nathan, let's go outside. No, he snapped loudly. He should hear this too. Ethan blinked in confusion. Hear what exactly? I know what you're doing. At that exact moment, another voice entered the conversation. Babe, they were out of oat milk again. We all turned. A man walked into the breakfast area carrying 2 coffees. Tall, beard, casual flannel shirt. He stopped beside Ethan naturally and kissed the side of his head before noticing the tension. What's happening? The silence afterward was deafening. Nathan stared at them, then at me, then back at them again. Ethan slowly raised one eyebrow. Nathan, this is my boyfriend, Caleb. The entire room felt frozen. One coworker actually whispered, "Oh my God." Nathan looked physically sick. But the photos, from a work conference? Ethan asked carefully. The wine tasting was with our entire team. Caleb frowned. Wait, you thought Ethan and Essie were hooking up? Nobody answered. Nathan's face turned bright red as realization finally hit him. The wine glasses. The pool picture. The weekend away. All of it. His breathing became uneven. You let me think. I looked directly at him. No, I let you assume exactly what you wanted me to assume. His eyes filled instantly. That's not fair. You wanted a hall pass because your trainer smiled at you for 6 months. People all around us were pretending not to stare now. Nathan looked humiliated beyond words. Then he turned and walked out of the hotel without saying another word. I found him sitting alone in his car in the parking lot 10 minutes later.
my
both
gosh,
hands gripping the steering wheel
I didn't think I
tightly.
did two over here.
The moment I approached, he started
That
crying.
just saves me
Not dramatic
all
crying.
of my problems.
Quiet, embarrassed crying. I ruined everything, he whispered. I stood there silently. You hate me now, don't you?
Okay.
The scary part?
Well, I have some
I
things
didn't
to
know
do.
anymore.
58.
I stood beside Nathan's car
I need to
for a
do
long
art, I need
time
to do
while he cried quietly into his hands. The
small
parking lot
stuff.
was almost empty, sunlight reflecting off the windshield hard enough to hurt my eyes. I didn't think this would happen, he whispered. That's the problem, I said softly. You didn't think at all. The drive home later that night was silent. I rode back with coworkers and let Nathan drive alone. By the time I got home, he was sitting on the couch, staring at nothing, still wearing the same clothes from the hotel. We need to talk, he said the second I walked in. I dropped my bag near the door. Okay. For the first time in months, he looked small instead of confident. I think I got addicted to the attention, he admitted. The gym, Sabrina, all of it. She made me feel exciting again. I started confusing attention with connection. And your solution was asking permission to cheat. He flinched. When you agreed so easily, he continued, I panicked. Because suddenly it became real. I sat across from him quietly. You never thought I'd actually use the hall pass, I said. No, he admitted immediately. I thought you'd laugh it off or pick someone random. I didn't think you'd choose Ethan. Because you knew exactly how this would feel if the roles were reversed. Tears filled his eyes again. I'm sorry, Essie. The apology came too late. Not because he wanted Sabrina. People get crushes, relationships go through rough seasons, but because he built an entire fantasy where my feelings didn't matter. He expected loyalty while testing boundaries himself. And the second consequences touched him personally, he collapsed. That changed how I saw him. I think we need space, I said quietly. His face went pale. Space or goodbye? I don't know yet, but deep down, I already did. The separation lasted 2 months before turning into divorce. No kids, separate finances, clean paperwork, messy emotions.
What am I doing?
Nathan tried blaming me once during counseling, claiming I emotionally manipulated him with the Ethan situation.
Changes
Our
rules.
therapist shut that down immediately. You proposed the hall pass, Dr. Moreno said calmly. She simply accepted the terms you created. Nathan never brought it up again. Meanwhile, the story spread faster than either of us expected. Sabrina apparently told her girlfriend about the awkward client who propositioned her after a workout session. Her girlfriend worked at a popular salon downtown. Small town. Big gossip. Within weeks, people knew. Nathan quit the boutique gym after someone jokingly asked if he was still searching for modern relationships. He moved to another part of the city after the divorce finalized. As for me, I survived. That surprised me at first. Months later, I started dating a middle school teacher named Daniel. On our third date, I jokingly asked what he thought about hall passes. He looked horrified. If I wanted someone else, he said, I'd leave first. Why damage someone you supposedly love? Such a simple answer. One Nathan somehow never understood. The funniest part came almost a year later when I accidentally ran into Sabrina at a coffee shop. She recognized me immediately and looked mortified. I'm so sorry about all that, she said carefully. I actually laughed. It wasn't your fault. She shook her head. Your ex just completely misread everything. Trust me, I replied. That became a pattern. Sometimes I still think about that dinner. The candles, the salmon, the way Nathan thought he'd discovered some exciting loophole in commitment. In the end, He got exactly what he asked for,
Freedom.
just not in the way he imagined.